Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. So how many times can something happen or something reoccur until it's no longer a coincidence? How many people who have extremely close ties to the Clintons politically meet the same fate? Now in this video I'm going to be very careful to avoid using certain language because let's just say the algorithm is written in a certain way and it doesn't exactly prioritize or appreciate some of the terms related to the Clintons and all of the missing people, but of course you guys know exactly what I'm talking about here. The Clinton phenomenon continues as two more individuals have been found lifeless, both with heavy ties to the Clintons. One was a former Clinton aide, the other a billionaire donor, and it begs the question, why is nobody talking about this? How is this not a popular topic of discussion? Because the mystery is just wild. How many times can this happen before alarm bells start to go off? I don't think there's anyone in the history of the United States that has this many connections to people mysteriously vanishing, at least not politicians, maybe mafia mob bosses, and of course in third world dictatorships and such, but something just seems off, something seems very odd. Let me show you guys the most recent cases and let's talk about the phenomenon as a whole. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so it happened again. Death of shot Clinton aide with Epstein ties found tied to a tree. Let's just say it was ruled self-ending, despite no weapon found at the scene. The mysterious ending of an aide to President Bill Clinton with ties to Jeffrey Epstein has been officially ruled a self-ending, despite there being no sign of a weapon near the body. Mark Middleton, 59, who served in the Clinton White House in the 1990s, was found lifeless on Hafer Ranch in Perryville, Arkansas on the 2nd of May, 2022. Almost 1 year after Middleton's ending, a police report obtained by the outlet this week revealed that the Little Rock businessman was discovered with a weapon-shot wound to the chest and an extension cord which was wrapped around his neck and tied to a tree. I could see the male was obviously deceased. Deputy Jeremy Lawson of the Perry County Sheriff's Department wrote of his arrival at the grisly scene. Notably, Lawson's account includes that while officers located a weapon case and 3 boxes of buckshot in the Middleton's BMW SUV, there was no weapon in sight. And now look, I'm not going to say anything definitively, but holy moly, how many times can this happen? And with such suspicious case details. A wound to the chest. Now that detail on its own is very alarming, very suspicious. And on top of that, no weapon was found. Well, where did it go? Did a random stray dog pick up the shotgun and bury it under the ground? And what makes it even more suspicious is Mr. Middleton's connection to the late Jeffrey Epstein. Middleton notably signed late terrible individual Jeffrey Epstein into the White House 7 of the 17 times that he visited the residence, the Daily Mail said. He was also reported to have flown on Epstein's infamous certain word express jet. So this is an individual who had direct ties not only to Bill Clinton, not only to the Clintons, but to Jeffrey Epstein as well, personally signing him into the White House 7 times of the 17 times that he visited during the Clinton administration. You know, it'd be one thing if all of these cases were totally isolated, but they all seem to have a common denominator. That's the Clintons and Jeffrey Epstein. We're now also getting reports that billionaire financier Thomas H. Lee has been found with a self-inflicted wound in his New York City office. Now this one could be an isolated situation, we don't know exactly, but supposedly this individual also had connections to the Clintons. Now how many times can situations like this occur until people start to get suspicious? I mean, as if the Jeffrey Epstein incident on its own doesn't raise suspicions, then a year later one of his closest associates in a French prison meets the exact same fate.
He was a close confidant of convicted offender Jeffrey Epstein and a former French modeling agent facing charges of his own. Tonight, Jean-Luc Brunel is dead, found in his Paris prison cell hanged with his bed sheets, according to the Paris prosecutor's office. Authorities believe the 75-year-old died by. It comes less than 3 years after Epstein was found dead in a Manhattan prison under similar circumstances. His death has been ruled a. Brunel was awaiting trial after several former models accused him of and harassment when they were minors.
What he was accused of in the context of his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein was using his position as a modeling scout lure women to be abused by Epstein and by himself.
In a statement, Brunel's lawyers maintained their client's innocence, writing in part, his decision was not driven by guilt, but by a deep sense of injustice. It's the latest twist in the sprawling saga of Jeffrey Epstein.
At some point, you got to be asking yourself, it's too much of a coincidence. There's too many people that are all connected to the same sort of group, all of them in White House invitation logs, on Epstein's island and his flight log. All of these people with these clearly deep connections involved in whatever nefarious stuff that they were doing just happened to end up missing or taking their own lives with very, very suspicious circumstances that frankly make no sense. And the sheer quantity, the sheer magnitude is staggering. I don't know anybody, again, who isn't a crime lord or a warlord or a dictator that has this many people associated with them going missing or taking their own lives. I mean, the magnitude of it is so massive that the phenomenon itself has its own Wikipedia page. Again, we're gonna take a step back and we're not gonna say specific words, but I'm sure you guys know exactly what Wikipedia page this is. There's an entire list of alleged victims. The main victims, as you guys can see here, with possibly another one added to the list, this individual, Mark Middleton, I believe his name is. But those are just the core individuals. As you go down, you see there's other people supposedly involved, and supposedly this list on the Wikipedia page doesn't even represent the totality. It's a ridiculous amount of people, and the list keeps growing and growing every single year, it feels like. The media wants you to shut up and not question the official narrative. They've already determined that it's an unhinged conspiracy theory, but the more time goes on and the more people are added to this list, the more questions I have. You know, you might have been able to convince me that it was just a coincidence maybe 5 or 6, 7 years ago. Probably not, but anyways, just for the sake of conversation. But the more time goes on, the more I'm just not buying the official narrative. It's too many people part of the same clique. And understanding the very dark history and the fact that a certain list from a certain court case is supposedly going to be released with 165 names on it, and how many distracting stories there are currently in the news cycle, trying to pull our attention away from it all, well, the more I'm convinced that there's something real rotten behind the surface. And what I'm really questioning is, how much do we not know? How much more is going on with these unsavory individuals that we aren't aware of? And how much of what internet sleuths uncovered not too long ago during the 2015 election involving key figures in a particular campaign, how much of it is actually true and what exactly are they trying to hide? With this many people just dropping lifeless and disappearing, something smells real bad. I guess that's what I'll say. I'll keep it vague. It's just impossible that all of these events are coincidental. Too much suspicious information and too many common denominators and connecting factors. That's what I got for you guys though. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Of course, we'd love to have you here at the Liberal Hive Mind community. Thanks for watching, friends, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.